get to some of those.
One that's come in, Lenny, it actually came in yesterday from Cardiac Kids, funnily enough, or at Dull Butt Cricket. Why don't Nepal play a series against Ireland, a test nation, while they are in Scotland? It's a win-win for all. Scotland, Ireland and Nepal tri-series after the this whole thing ends. And I can understand why that would be seen as a good idea, but it's...
They were due to host Afghanistan in, I think it was all 3 formats this summer, and they had to say we can't afford it, which, you know, some in Ireland will question because of their additional revenues that they receive because of being a full member now, but it's just a reality. This part of the world, hotel rooms are expensive, and none of these 3 countries, Netherlands, Ireland or Scotland, have their own venue, if that makes sense. They rely entirely upon the clubs who have venues that the boards have to work in partnership with to then get access to put on international cricket. There's 5 with ODI status here in Scotland as this is driven. Little chancely as it was at a catchable height, but we'll pick up a double or a brace for... So there's 5 ODI and Edinburgh both have a venue. We're here in Dundee, or just outside Dundee, and then up to Aberdeen, the northernmost ODI ground in the world. In Ireland, you've got 4, Clontarf and Malahide in Dublin, Stormont in Belfast, and Breedy in Derry. And then in the Netherlands, you've got 4 too, the fantastic venues at the VOC in Rotterdam, the VRA in Amstelveen, Kampong in Utrecht, and Voorburg that will host the T20 World Cup qualifier next month. But all of those grounds I've just mentioned are all club grounds. So you don't have full-time access to them, therefore you can't put in full-time infrastructure. And if you're hosting, you know, as Forfeiture is this year, if you're hosting a handful of international matches, it wouldn't even make sense to have that permanent infrastructure. So cricket sadly costs money to run, and whilst the suggestion from that fan is a very good one, there has to be a commercial reality to it to at least try and make the series get close to breaking even. I think they could make it financially sustainable, but the problem is a lot of these series are done ad hocly, so to try and get money from a broadcaster or a media rights revenue, you need to be doing it far in advance so they can budget for it and plan for it and know that they want to show it. And I think the cricket would be fantastic. I think Nepal would put it right up to Ireland. And we've seen how good as to Scotland and Netherlands here in these conditions. But yeah, sadly for this tour it's not going to happen. It'll just be the triangular series that will follow this between the same sides.
Having said that, I think it's absolutely wonderful that they've managed to organise the triangular series, the T20s that will take place at Clydesdale Club in Glasgow next week. And I guess following on from that series against Australia that we saw last year, Lenny, as we finished the over, 93 for 3 after 22. But the fact that they were able to play this round of fixtures here at Forfeiture last year, and then have the Australian matches later in Edinburgh, and then this time around, I've got this round once more, and then they've piggybacked onto that, this tri-series of T20s, and there's nobody I know out there, no cricket fan, who doesn't love a tri-series. Everyone always talks about bringing back the tri-series, Lenny.
Yeah, it should be a really good one, and great prep for Scotland and the Netherlands for their qualifier. And also kind of a less pressured way for Stuart Law early in his tenure to try and start to establish what combinations and 11s and roles he would like to get going for the upcoming Asia/EAP qualifier that'll be held in October in Oman, where 9 teams will come together for 3 spots in next year's T20 World Cup. And what a prize that is, getting to head to either India or Sri Lanka for the next T20 World Cup, which will again be a 20-team edition. I suspect we'll see a little bit of experimentation from Nepal. I think we'll see a couple of debuts given, and I think it could be a great opportunity. In not like there are T20I rankings points on the line, but there isn't too much more than that. I think Nepal can get some experimentation going.
Well, for all three teams, it's fantastic because in the same vein, Netherlands and Scotland, they have their own qualifier to worry about. They'll be heading back to the Netherlands for the Europe qualifier for ICC Men's T20 World Cup. And vital time for them to be able to get through 5 teams taking part in that one in the Netherlands. Netherlands and Scotland will be joined by the Channel Islands, Guernsey and Guernsey and Italy as well.
Questions are coming in. We're going to get to those now, starting at the end of this over. Use that hashtag CWCL2, or you can get us directly at Cricket Badge. For me, or at Melinda Farrell, or Melinda SM Farrell for Instagram. Just type in her name, it'll pop up. I think that's the easiest way. And yeah, send in those questions. We'll get to those as we can. Some interesting ones coming in from down the leg side. Now, was this a chance? The reaction seems to indicate there was a flick of something. Was it bat or was it pad, Mel? Levitt might have just been thinking there was a tickle on this from Rohit Powdell. Has one captain dropped the other? I think it probably was bat, wasn't it? Not easy. Got a hand on it, juggled it, but couldn't hold on.
Tough one, but it goes down as a chance.
Okay, first question's coming in here, Mel. One from a bit of associate cricket team royalty. Lovely to hear from Peter Saylor, who's watching on. Back in the Netherlands, we saw him come and join us in the VRA and in Utrecht, the former Dutch captain. This will kind of echo a point that we were making earlier, Mel. Even the players sometimes don't necessarily understand the structures. He's asking how many games do they play in total. Is it 24 or was that the Super League? No, it's 36 ODIs. So it's 12 for each of the 3 calendar years, Peter, that they will be appearing. So 2024, you play a home series and 2 away. 2025 and 2026, indeed. At the end of this calendar year, at the end of December, everyone will have played 24. We'll have a complete balance and a real picture of where the teams stand. And then the second question coming in this time from a fan is how many teams retain ODI status? 6 of them definitely do. And then the bottom 2, 7th and 8th, Mel, could lose ODI status. They don't definitely, they could. And the way that they would lose that is by finishing beneath one of the 4 Challenge League teams, the top 2 in each division, that will play the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup qualifier playoff, which is slated for Q1 of 2027. I'd say it's quite likely that'll be down in Windhoek, given they're one of the co-hosts of the World Cup. So yeah, 36 games for each of these 8 teams. Top 4 go to the Cricket World Cup qualifier. Top 6 definitely retain ODI status. And 7th and 8th are in real trouble. They don't definitely lose it. They can still have a good qualifier playoff and retain it, as we saw the UAE do last time. But as Papua New Guinea fans will know, they finished 7th and bottom. They finished beneath Canada in the qualifier playoff. They lost their ODI status, and now they have to try and win it back.
I'm so glad that we've got Lenny here to explain that. You do it beautifully, Lenny. You do it so well without even a blink of an eye. But you're right. This is why we have to make sure that we hammer this home and people do understand the context.
The structure is incredibly good.
Yeah, it is. I think it's terrific.
So there was 36 teams that set out on the pathway, starting with the Challenge League playoff, back that kind of got it all going. And that was the 4 highest ranked T20I sides outside of the 32 trying to win into it. And 3 of them did win into it. So the likes of Bermuda and Vanuatu, they've lost their Challenge League status. So they are now playing no structured 50 over cricket in ICC structures. In the Challenge League, you get 3 6-team events across the 3-year cycle, so you get 1 a year. We've already seen 2 in Challenge League Group B. We'll see the second one in Challenge League Group A coming in August in Jersey. And at the kind of the various stages of those 2 leagues, it looks like Uganda and Italy are looking really good in Group B, and then Papua New Guinea and Jersey, maybe a Kuwait or a Denmark could get into the mix as well. This is cut away. Arif Sheikh's favourite stroke will bring up the 100 in real style. And a good ovation for that shot from the Iceman, who's now not battling the icy conditions. He's thriving in the sunny ones.
It hasn't been an innings full of boundary shots at all. It's been mostly accumulation, but on this occasion, he just had enough width. Slash that ball away with some real power. It's been a good positive start from Sheikh. Enjoying perhaps the bit of extra pace from Van Meekeren back into the attack. That's a better line from Van Meekeren, but they still get the single.
Nice to hear from Philomath as well, who's watching on in Kathmandu. You're going to love this, Mel.
I love it when you say that, Lenny.
From Rohit Paudal's new cafe, which he just launched just prior to coming on this trip. With a big fanfare and a big gala launch. Lots of his teammates came along to help him. So ambitious off the field as well. He's the ambassador for a lot of products, as so many of the Nepal players are. But he started out into a little bit of business himself now. I haven't been there yet because I haven't been in Kathmandu this year, desperate to get back. But he has opened up his own cafe in Budagadar in Kathmandu called...
Oh gosh, okay. Is it something to do with Paudal?
There's a bit of cricket involvement in there.
Ooh,
you're not going to get it.
Cricket. I'm not going to. Okay.
17 beans. So his number 17 on his back. So it's called 17 beans. Really nice idea. We saw.
I need to go there. You don't drink coffee. It's wasted on you. I need to go to his cafe.
Some of the best coffee in the world, apparently, in Nepal. So that's down the leg side. It'll be given as a wide. I can get a nice hot chocolate, or I'm sure the speciality in the Kathmandu Valley, the hot lemon, ginger and honey, which is very good for the vocal cords and dealing with that altitude.
Well, I tell you what, if I'm fortunate enough to get back there, that's going to be my first stop in Kathmandu. I'll have a word with him after the game maybe and say, any chance of a free Java?
Good diving stop, mix up, direct hit, would have been gone. And excellent work again from Roelof van der Merwe. I think Paudal was maybe a little bit guilty of ball watching rather than listening to the call of Arif Sheikh. And we saw a calamitous run out between the openers. I think this would have been run out had Paudal been able to effect the direct hit. They went to the left of the cover fielder. Paudal stutter stepped. Great diving stop. He had to throw off his knees. Yeah, direct hit would have been gone by miles.
Well, you suspected as much from the reactions. They have been pushing the singles and the twos. At that time, they would have pushed too far if that ball had hit the timbers. As it is, both still out there. 24 overs gone, 105 for 3, and Levitt continues.
More questions coming in. Anil Gurung is watching on from Guildford down in the UK in Surrey. He's saying he's closely following CWCL2, using that hashtag to get the message in. He feels that Nepal and the Netherlands and Scotland are all equally matched. He asks, though, what are the chances for Nepal to finish in the top 4? And what is the prize for winning the league and runner-up? Well, there's a trophy for winning the league. There is the potential, Anil, of maybe further benefits if the Cricket World Cup Super League returned. We don't know that yet, but you certainly want to try and finish up in the top 4, ideally in the top 1 or 2. But only a limited number of sides can do that, of course. Bipin Gamir is watching on, saying not a century from the Nepal batsman since the Canada bilateral series last year on home soil. Yeah, you're spot on. 7 of the 8 centuries that Nepal have made have been on home soil, just the one away from home. Slashed away and picks the fielder out. Michael Levitt is 2. And Paudal can't believe what he's done. He's done the hard work. He's got to 35. He'll get no more as Teja Nidamanoru holds on to the catch. Nepal, they are stumbling here against the fifth bowler, Michael Levitt. Well, he's at it again.
Well, who says he's a part-timer? Michael Levitt has come on into the attack in these middle overs and made a real impact. Second wicket. He's given up just 17 runs. And yes, he is at it again, and it's the big wicket of the skipper. Just tried to carve that away. But his bat maybe just turned a little bit underneath. And it was well taken in the end. Nice safe pair of hands. And yet again, the captain has made a start, but been unable to go on with it. Netherlands, they will be very happy that they're getting these wickets out of Michael Levitt.
A bit like the Bim Sharkey one. It's just a bit disappointing, isn't it? Both times, Levitt being gifted opportunities to take wickets, rather than really kind of forcing them through brilliant bowling. It was wide, it was there to be hit. He needed to get it an awful lot straighter, probably trying to hit over extra cover, but he couldn't have picked the man out any better. Just like the one Wesley Baracey took at deep square leg off Bim Sharkey. Rohit Paudel also caught in the deep, maybe 5 yards in front of the rope. Two very soft dismissals to two good tough innings. It did all the hard work but can do no more. Dipender Singh Airi, vice captain to the crease, is going to get off the mark immediately. And keep your eyes on the rapid running and the upping in tempo as Aryan Dutt is warming up. There must be some matchup that they like between the off spinner and Dipender Singh Airi early. I'm a bit surprised to see Airi coming to the crease. I thought that they might go with Bashir Ahmed at 6, given the circumstance, to try and get the left hand right hand combination going in the innings, to try and just change things a little bit. But they've stuck with the set order as Akhlayan Cachet does very well to save 4 at backward point.
Oh, Lenny, I completely agree with you. Now that Dipender Singh Airi is in the middle, I am fascinated to watch the running between the wickets, because he was unbelievably rapid in that last game.
Changed the game, didn't it? Put Nepal right on top.
I'd love to know how he does as we finish the over. Successful one for Levitt, 3 singles and a wicket, and at the halfway mark, it's 108 for 4. You'll be interested to see what his beep test results are. As we have a look at the batting innings again, you see those starts from Nepal, and well, for Paudel, he'd had to work a lot harder and stay out in the middle. You see they're 35 off 60. Really frustrating for them. So, might be interested to look at the bowling figures. I don't know if we have time. Yeah, just look at the economy rate for Michael Levitt there. The 2 wickets, he's only gone for 3.8, and he is the bowler we expected them to attack. Well, what's happened is they have tried to attack him, but they've ended up picking out the fielders. And he's also managed to stay pretty tidy.
And Umesh Pandey agrees with you. He says Nepal is showing the world their culture and their incredible hospitality by gifting their wickets to their opponents. And credit to Michael Levitt, he's shown a bit of character. Leknath is saying the same. Sharkey and Paolo got out to very similar shots. Are they underestimating the fifth bowler and Michael Levitt in particular?
Are we underestimating him?
he should in theory be the weak link in the attack, but he's, for the second time in the 2 fixtures between these 2 sides, got 2 wickets to his name. He'll probably end up with a few more the way he's going. Aryan Dutt will return to the attack from the pavilion end of the ground. For Nepal, it's a tricky position now. They're halfway through their overs. We spoke about sort of 230, 240. Given the platform that third wicket gave them, they'd want a lot more than that, but do have to be careful about losing wickets. Slightly longer tail today with no Sampal Kami about because of that fractured elbow. Or fractured bone in the elbow, should I say. And fascinating second half of the first innings in store.
It certainly is. And, you know, just a word, I don't think I can emphasize just how incredible that was for Sompol Kami batting on with that fractured elbow. And he'll come through for a single. He was on 23 when he was hit by that short ball on the point of the elbow by Brandon McMullen. Was through the shot early. He ended up making 67 off 44. So it was a fine effort. I've got one here for you, Lenny. So hello, Benaya from Adelaide. Hoping Nepal will recover from the early shock of losing a couple of wickets. Just wondering, who do you think is the fastest bowler in this tournament?
Yeah, at the moment it's probably Paul van Meekeren, who's on show today. Hasn't bowled at his very peak. Be interesting to see Nandan Yadav in the second innings to see how quick he can bowl. Definitely can, by Nepal standards, push the radar up there. But Chris Soule, who we have seen in the league, but hasn't been in the last two series. He was in the squad in Texas before getting injured last November. He's probably the quickest. Bilal Khan has been injured all league, but he's been known to get it up towards about 90 miles an hour earlier in his career. Junaid Sadiq, oh God, he bowled probably the fastest spell in the Netherlands, actually. He was rapid when he had the wind at his back. I think that was the VRA from memory. Just running through the teams for USA, Ali Khan doesn't play much ODI cricket anymore, but he can get the needle up. They don't have much pace though, USA. For Canada, probably their quickest is Dylan Hayliger, really. And again, no Jeremy Gordon in the side in this cycle, so they don't really have a lot of express pace. Kalim San is an incredibly skillful bowler, but he's not rapid. And then Trumpelman has lost pace with all those injuries he's had for Namibia. He's probably the quickest down there. So
he lost his pace with his hair. He was the Samson of the cricket world.
With Trumpelman?
Yeah, he's cut his hair off and it was like, he's not as quick.
Yeah, no, there isn't a lot of X factor and raw pace. The two things we don't get a lot of in the associate game, and therefore as a consequence they're the two things that the associates can struggle with going up to World Cups, are express pace and mystery spin. We've got some great spinners in this league, fantastic spinners, but not a huge number of mystery spinners or even necessarily wrist spinners. Shariz Ahmed is in the squad for the Netherlands, hasn't played across any of the two series. Sandeep Lamachani has that incredible wicket-taking record in this format. Zairi guides that away. Think of a second, and the Dutch fielders have to be on their toes now with Zairi out there. Don't think there's too many other wrist spinners going around. Yasser Mohammad's got a couple of games for USA, but very much in and out of the squad. Yannick Lofty-Eaton's really in the team for his batting. He bowls some leg breaks down for Namibia. I do like Sameh Shrivastava from Oman. He does concede boundaries, but he's got a marvellous googly. Probably one of the best googlies actually going around. Batters don't seem to pick it, and it turns miles. He's got a really sort of sidearm action, gets good side spin on the ball. He's a good one to watch. Been a big loss losing Karthik Mayappan from the UAE. So yeah, not a huge amount of express pace and not a huge amount of mystery spin. That's probably the one area that this league could maybe do with discovering a few more players. This is slashed away, very fine. Oh, Klein does well, makes that look easy, but will concede the second. But they're the two kinds of players that every single team around the world looks for, and there aren't a huge amount of, even in some of the big test nations.
Yeah, absolutely. Express pace, mystery spin. They're the two, wouldn't you? I'd put up there as well if you've got left arm pace. That's another one that's highly sought after. And we're talking proper express pace as well. Extra 5K makes a pretty big difference at the top level.
Yeah, the reality is the only ones, and feel free to message in if you disagree, but the only ones really pressing the 140k plus marker, which is that kind of benchmark that most at the top level will say it starts to really overload your skills and have a bit of threat and fear, as it bounces well over the top despite Levitt's reaction. 27 bowled 113 for 4, but the only ones I can think of who kind of got to 140, Gavin Main can as well, but he's not playing ODI cricket because he's not available anywhere near like enough. We'll see him in the T20 series. So Gavin Main, Chris Saul from Scotland, both currently not playing. For the Netherlands, it's really just Van Meekeren. Fred Klaassen isn't anything like that place, nor is Van der Hoogten or Van Beek when available. Basteleda has been known to get it up there actually, but again, he's recovering from that stress fracture. For the UAE, it's really just Junaid Siddiq. Jawadullah's kind of cunningly quick. He's a bit quicker than you'd imagine. He's got that fast arm action. For Oman, there is one man who made his debut recently. I'm just going to get his name. He was born in Rawalpindi. And if you close your eyes or maybe looked without your glasses on, you'd think it's Shoaib Akhtar. It's the exact same run-up, the exact same hair, the exact same style and the same action. Brilliant to watch. I've heard he can bowl quickly, but I don't think he's express pace. For Nepal, really, express pace isn't something they've had. Gulshan Jah kind of burst onto the scene with a few performances in domestic cricket. He can maybe get it up on his very best days to 135, 140, but Nandan Yadav would be interesting to watch today. Be good.
It'll be my first time seeing him for sure.
So, Roelof van der Merwe will return to the attack. Change of ends for him and nearly creates a chance. Very animated as always, and no doubt does well to recover from the little fumble. Yeah, who else do you think in the associate world that I'm forgetting, watching on at home, that you might think it has the potential to bowl express pace that we haven't mentioned? You can use the hashtag CWCL2 or message directly at Cricket Badge or at Melinda Farrell. Lots of messages coming in. We'll get to those as we can, including one I want to have a bit of a rant about.
Oh dear. It wasn't express pace, but a bit more than what we have seen perhaps from Mackenzie Jones. I thought he bowled really well. And again, it wasn't express pace, but it was decent pace with the extra bounce that he was able to extract as well from 6'4", 6'5" height.
I think there was a few around Scotland as well who were surprised by how quickly it came out. I do think it might have been a bit deceptive with some of the shorter in stature Nepal batters who were kind of being rushed by the bounce as much as the pace. I don't think it was rapid. Again, we don't have the speed guns at this level, but it would be interesting, wouldn't it, to get it onto them. Ireland uncovered a funny one. I know they're not an associate, but just kind of speaking of how in demand pace bowling is. They had a young kid called Jordan Neal playing at the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup last January. He was in the team as a number 4 batter and occasional off spinner. Of South African origin with an Irish passport. Don't think he played much at all in Ireland before playing for the 19s. And over the winter, he stayed up, moved to Belfast, emigrated and stayed up for the winter to train with the Northern Knights under Simon Johnston, their head coach. And he was mucking about, like literally messing around before the start of a session, coming in and bowling a bit of seam before the session started in the indoor nets at Queen's University in Belfast. And Simon Johnston said, "What's this? You bowled seam before?" It was, "Oh, I gave up when I was 13 because I was a top order batter. So my coach told me maybe just focus on a bit of off spin." And he goes, Ari wants the second, but Ari Sheikh doesn't. Just a single. Good fielding, really impressive from Max O'Dowd. And he said, "We've got something to work with here." They have a little kind of handheld basic speed gun. He was clocked at over 130 and then worked on it throughout the whole winter. Apparently has been touching 140 on that speed gun now. And he was brought in and